friends, welcome back once again in the video lecture series of system programming. Today I am going to explain assembler, right? But what is assembler? What is its functionality? Where it uses? All these questions may haunt in your mind. So to solve all those confusions, let's have a quick review on where exactly assembler does its role. So to understand this working principle of assembler, first of all we should know that when source program or it may also known as modified source program is given in compiler, compiler just compile this source program or modified source program and it translates it into target assembly code or target assembly program. Target assembly program, right? Sometimes it is also known as target assembly code, right? After retrieving target assembly code from source program by translating through compiler, this goes in your assembler. Then what is an assembler? Assembler is also a language, right? It is a program or it is a language which translates target assembly program or target assembly code. I am writing both the things here. Target assembly program, or somewhere it is also known as target assembly code, and it gives relocatable machine code, right? Relocatable machine code. And after preparation of relocatable machine code, linker and loader are taking their responsibility by adding some library files, and after that the main execution happens. So here I am trying to concentrate my lecture on assembler only. So what does assembler do? Assembler takes the target assembly program and it converts it into relocatable machine code. So what is an assembler? Assembler is a program, right, which converts assembly language into machine code. Here assembly language is also known as, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, target assembly code or target assembly program, right? Assembly language is also known as target assembly code or target assembly program. And this machine code is nothing but, this is also known as relocatable machine code, right? Okay. What is its second feature? It normally converts the assembly code. What are the assembly codes? That I will just let you know afterwards. What are the assembly codes, right? Assembly codes into binary code. See, whenever compiler compiles a source program, right, and it translates into assembly language, it gives the assembly language to assembler, because कंपाइलर और हार्डवेयर के बीच, एज वी ऑल नो कि सारा का सारा जो भी एग्जीक्यूशन होता है वो हार्डवेयर के अंदर होता है। तो हार्डवेयर के अंदर जो एग्जीक्यूशन होता है, कंपाइलर कभी भी हार्डवेयर के साथ डायरेक्टली इंटरेक्ट नहीं कर पाता है। दैट इज वाई कंपाइलर और उस हार्डवेयर के बीच में वन मोर program is needed, or one more language is needed, that is known as your assembler. Basically, assembler establishes the bridge between compiler and machine. That is why it converts assembly code into binary code. अच्छा, तीसरा इसका ये देखिए, it is machine dependent. What does it mean? It means that compiler may be used in various machines of different architecture, but assembler of one architecture is designed for that machine only, right? That means assembler for different architecture will be different. That is why compiler cannot directly interact with the hardware. मेरे ख्याल से आपको बात समझ में आ रही होगी, क्योंकि हमारे पास बहुत सारे आर्किटेक्चर्स होते हैं, अलग अलग आर्किटेक्चर्स के साथ कंपाइलर की कंपैटिबिलिटी नहीं बन पाते, इसीलिए असेंबलर एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी प्ले करता है जो कि ब्रिज की तरह काम करता है, किसके बीच, कंपाइलर के बीच में और हार्डवेयर के बीच में. दैट इज व्हाई इट इज नोन एज योर मशीन डिपेंडेंट. ओके, assembler is having mainly three features. First feature is known as mnemonic operation code. Mnemonic operation code is also known as mnemonic opcodes. Basically mnemonic opcodes का यूज इसलिए होता है ताकि हमें न्यूमेरिक opcodes को बार बार याद करने की जरूरत ना पड़े, इसलिए न्यूमेरिक opcodes के बजाय हम लोग न्यूमेरिक opcode को यूज करते हैं, so that कि असेंबली लैंग्वेज में हम लोग जो प्रोग्रामिंग है बहुत आसानी से कर पाए, राइट. सेकेंड वन इज योर सिंबॉलिक ऑपरेंड्स. सी, whenever you are creating some, whenever you are writing some instruction, so always some data has to be associated with instruction. So whenever the operand, whenever the data is associated with the instruction, that data must be named by assembly language program or by the assembler. So that name which is given to the data is known as symbolic name, and the data here is known as operands, right? The data here is known as operands. And why it is known as symbolic operands? Because the data which is considered as an operand must be have some symbolic name. That is why it is known as symbolic operand. Symbolic operand means symbol. A symbolic name which is given to operand is known as symbolic operand. Next, the third one, very important, that is data declaration. Okay, what do you mean by data declaration? See, sometimes what happens that we don't want to convert the data manually, right? So in this scenario, when we don't want to manipulate the data, or we don't want to convert the data from one form to another form, at that time assembler takes the responsibility to convert one data into another data. Say, so for example, suppose one integer is given to you, right, and it has to be converted into float, right? So if you don't want to do it manually and you want to that the result should be come out, so assembler at that point, assembler is taking its responsibility for data conversion from one form to another form. That is why data declaration is one of the important key role of this feature. So next, let us discuss about assembly language statements. So what are the assembly language statements? Actually, assembly language statements are the statements which are responsible for a real execution of a program, right? Now, real execution of a program means what? Actually, the translation is done by assembler. So the translation phase is seems to be execution of the program. कहने का मतलब यहाँ ट्रांसलेशन जब हो रहा होता है उसी को लोग प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूशन कहेंगे. प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूशन डज नॉट मीन्स द एंटायर एग्जीक्यूशन ऑफ द प्रोग्राम. हियर प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूशन मीन्स ट्रांसलेशन ऑफ टारगेट assembly code or target assembly program to machine relocatable machine code, right? तो उस चीज को करने में there are few statements which are very important, right? First is imperative statement, second one is your declaration statement, and third one is your assembler directives. So let us discuss about imperative statement first. Imperative statement is a statement which gets into action when actual program is executed. Actual program is executed means what? Actually the translation is going on in assembler, so that is known as your program execution. So whenever actual program execution is done, imperative statement comes into picture and it gets activated. Basically what it does, वो एक इंस्ट्रक्शन को मशीन इंस्ट्रक्शन में ट्रांसलेट करता है. इंपैरेटिव स्टेटमेंट ट्रांसलेट वन इनटू मशीन इंस्ट्रक्शन, राइट? नेक्स्ट वन इज योर डिक्लेरेशन स्टेटमेंट. डिक्लेरेशन स्टेटमेंट क्या होता है? हम लोग असेंबली लेवल लैंग्वेज में या असेंबलर के लिए हम लोग एक डिक्लेरेशन स्टेटमेंट को प्रोड्यूस करते हैं. उस डिक्लेरेशन स्टेटमेंट का जो फॉर्मेट होता है कुछ इस तरीके से होता है. और आई विल टेक लेबल से 1, इट इज ऑप्शनल, यू कैन यूज इट और नॉट. लेबल 1, राइट? DS and some constant. Or you can also take same label 1, DC, and for this you can take any value. What does it means? This is the format of the declaration statement. हालांकि आप लोगों को असेंबली लेवल लैंग्वेज बहुत ज्यादा डीप में नहीं पढ़ना है बिकॉज यू आर द स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ कंप्यूटर साइंस एंड इंजीनियरिंग, बट यू शुड हैव टू हैव an introductory format of how actually a declaration statement is. Here, what is DS? DS is declare storage, right? We have to declare how much storage we should need, right? First is known as your DS is for declare storage, and DC means declare constant, right? DS means declare storage, and DC means declare constant. Now, next one is your assembler directives. Assembler directives is a hardcore programming where we are actually writing the assembly code. So how do we write assembly code? For that, we are using at least 2 directives. The first directive is known as start. Start with some constant, right? With some constant. This is the first directive, right? And second directive is end. That means what? If you want to write some assembly code, it has to be start with the start tag or start command, and if you want to finish the assembly, writing the assembly code, it must end with the end command. So these are 2 commands are known as directives, right? Now I will just let you know why we are writing here constant. Constant we are writing here to start our assembly language from which memory address. Talk about simple assembly scheme, right? Assembly scheme is what are the necessary information has to be performed first, right? we have to perform a lot of tasks, but out of those tasks, which one is more important? And this importance will be decided by simple assembly scheme. And in simple assembly scheme, we have to design some specification, right? Out of so many tasks, how we can identify the better or the necessary information which has to be performed the task first. So all these problems comes under design specification of assembler, and we are getting the solution that out of many information, which information has to be perform the task first. So in design specification, basically we are having 4 types of specification. First specification shows identify the information to perform the task. Okay, fine. So as I have already told you, in assembly code, while we are writing the assembly code and when we are processing the assembly code, there are a lot of informations are coming and going through it. The very important thing is that we have to identify which information is really very necessary to perform the task first. That is the first elementary or first goal, primary goal. Now, whenever we are performing some information, we have to keep the record for those performed information also. So for that, we have to design a data structure so that whatever the task has been performed on information, that has to be recorded well. That means, why it is necessary? Because somehow in the latter session, we may have to have the recorded information once again, right? So अगर हमें अगर recorded information को अगर दोबारा अगर हमें चाहिए, तो design specification must give the privilege for determining the process that how the recorded information can be obtained easily, and if modification or any maintenance is required on the information, we can do it very easily. So we have to determine the processing also, that not only the information, the processing of information is required, we have to store or we have to record the information, and after the record the information, we have to have the features of obtaining and maintaining the information if it is required once again or again and again, right? And after doing so many tasks, finally, one more thing is very important. We have to determine the processing to perform all the tasks as a whole. So these are very important features for designing the specification of assembler, which comes under the simple assembly scheme. Now here I am going to explain the formal way of how the translation goes on in assembly level language or through assembly, right? Suppose I am having a source program and it has to be translated into target program. So source program can be translated into target program by going through 2 phases. First phase is known as analysis phase, and second phase is known as synthesis phase. Here I would like to tell you that I have used 2 types of arrows here. One arrow is this directed arrow, and second arrow is dashed arrow. Directed arrow shows the flow of data or data flow, right? But dashed arrow shows the control flow. That means what? What does it mean? That means if you have to translate the source program into target program, first of all you have to go through analysis phase followed by synthesis phase. So that is why I have used dashed line arrow for control flow. Now I am going to explain you what the actual features of analysis phase. Later on, I will explain you about synthesis phase. See, first of all, analysis phase, what it does, it basically do 4 types of action. First of all, it takes that how many labels are there, right? And if there are so many labels in the statements, it isolates all the labels and mnemonic codes. That is the first one. Second one is that all the new entries, if you are finding some labels, if labels are present, then all the new entries will be shifted to your symbol table. This is known as a symbol table, right? After that, it also checks the validity of mnemonic codes through mnemonic tables. That means whatever the mnemonic codes are present here, is it valid or not? This is the third feature which is analyzed by your analysis phase. And fourth one is very important, is your LC processing. What is LC processing? LC processing is nothing but LC processing means location counter processing, right? Location counter processing is location counter is a data structure which is used to allocate the memory while assembly language translation does its execution, right? So in this, we are having 2 types of tables as you are watching this in this diagram. In the first table, this table is known as mnemonics table, in which we are having some mnemonics like add and sub. Add is for addition and sub is for subtraction, and the respective output is also given to it. Means instead of add, you can also use 01 or 02, and the length is given to you, right? Here it may be your 1 memory word, and for subtraction also I am getting 1 memory word, right? Okay. Ready. So symbol table is having 2 attributes. Here I am giving here symbol. Instead of symbol, I can also write name and address. There are two attributes in symbol tables. One is your name and second one is your address, right? So what has now happened? So after completion of analysis phase, the next task is to perform by synthesis phase. So what synthesis phase does? Synthesis phase यहाँ से आपका output लेता है, right? Mnemonic table से ये आपका mnemonics लेता है और symbol table से आपके operands के addresses को लेता है, right? 2 टास्क ये परफॉर्म करता है. फर्स्ट टास्क रहता है कि ये mnemonics को लेता है mnemonic table से, right? And यहाँ मैं लिख देता हूँ, if for your convenience, mnemonic codes. That means synthesis phase obtains mnemonic codes from mnemonic tables and address of the operands from symbol table. And there is 2 tasks. And third task, very important, by clubbing together, it synthesizes the machine instruction. So in this diagram, this diagram says very clearly that data is flowing from source program. It reaches to analysis phase. Later on, analysis phase is having 2 activities. First of all, if we are having some labels, right? So it will isolate the labels, and when the labels is still present, it will just means where it will send to the new entry table, right, in symbol table, right? This is the first one. It also checks the validity of these mnemonic codes, right? After that, one main thing, it is also useful for LC processing. LC processing means already I have done, and after LC processing, तब तक दो टेबल्स हमारे बन चुके होते हैं और इसके बाद एलसी प्रोसेसिंग जब हो चुकी होती है, देन इट इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ सिंथेसिस phase to take the responsibility from where numeric code is taken, the address is taken, and finally synthesization of machine instruction is done.